Hey, it's Brian Mudd. This is my cheat sheet for Tuesday, September 20th. I ended up getting together the stories and realizing that there was a little bit of a religious theme behind some of the stuff today. But technology and religion, who says they can't get along? Here's the first one. Abilene Christian University. They ended up studying students using iPads versus students who did not use them in class. You know, a lot of students like taking notes and even recording the lecture on their iPad. What they ended up finding is that over the past year, students using an iPad in class scored 25% higher on tests than non-iPad users. Something to it? Kind of sounds like it. I wouldn't be surprised if Apple doesn't get behind more research studies along the lines of this. All right, so moving along, 73% of adults do it and 31% of adults prefer it. All right, it's also technology. It's texting. Yeah, that's right. Almost 3 out of 4 adults now are texting on a regular basis, and 31% are now at the point to where, heck, I mean, we're kind of like the kids, right? We'd rather be texting than talking on the phone, as you continue to see more of a trend as people get comfortable with texting as a way to avoid having to deal with a long, drawn-out conversation. We all know certain people in our lives that we'd rather get a text from than, 10-minute or longer phone conversation, right? Hey, the USPS, their plan, the one the Postmaster General laid out that candidly has a lot of pain attached to it, but then again, the USPS has to have dramatic changes, and all of them are going to be painful in some way. The plan actually got support from the President of the United States yesterday, President Obama. While he didn't necessarily endorse all aspects of the plan, did generally speak out positively about it, including the end of the Saturday mail delivery and the healthcare considerations the Postmaster General was calling for. So I'm going to sound like the President here and completely support one of his thoughts. Pass this bill now. The one from the Postmaster General, that is. That needs to be put to paper. Congress needs to pass it, and the President needs to sign it. The USPS cannot get through September on its current path, the way we are sitting. All right, so entrepreneurs. Just back to the religious thing. This one was a little bit surprising to me. I mean, not because I don't think that entrepreneurs are going to be any less religious than non-entrepreneurs, but I did find it interesting that a study ended up finding that entrepreneurs are far more religiously oriented than non-entrepreneurial folks. And I'm not really sure what that ends up saying about people who do innovate. But the study found, and this was by the National Science Foundation, that entrepreneurs are 26% more likely to turn to God on a regular basis for answers, for meditation, for anything to do with their business, than those who are not entrepreneurs. So do with that what you will, but I found that to be a bit of an interesting little factoid. Here's something you need to know if you're flying. Airline fees are hitting all-time highs, and we are finally at the $400 fee. I'm not kidding. You can make one flight arrangement with one particular airline, that being Continental, to where a round-trip flight could cost you $400 extra in fees. And what we're seeing is more divergence in the overall nature of the fees and the cost of those fees than ever before. It is so imperative that before you book airfare anymore, you check out what the fee policy of that particular airline is, figure out what your travel plans are going to be, and see if you're going to get nailed with fares. Could you imagine booking 2 round-trip tickets, seeing the price, paying for it, getting to the airport, and finding out that between the two of you, you have to pay an extra $800 in fees? That can happen right now if you don't pay attention to the fee structure of these various different airlines. Wendy's, they're going to do something new that's kind of old, actually. Wendy's is going to bring back the presence of their founder, Dave Thomas, in their new line of burgers. They're going to make them thicker. They're going to make them juicier. Extra cheese, please. Dave's Hot and Juicy burgers. They're coming to Wendy's menus on Monday as Wendy's does the next round of its food rollout program. You might remember about a year ago, they made a switch on fries. Now they're making a switch on burgers. And they also hope to expand internationally at a greater rate than they've done thus far. We have a Facebook facelift that's going to be coming on Thursday. We don't know exactly what's in it just yet, but it looks like they're going to talk about a next-generation video share program. They're going to talk about a new mobile strategy for Facebook and also music integration. I wonder if it has anything to do with iHeartRadio or if they're going to try to compete against iHeartRadio. Hey, and here's a downer to end on. How about that? Italy, they were downgraded overnight. But hey, we already knew that Europe had its own share of problems. For what it's worth, as I record this, it doesn't look like it's going to be a big problem in our financial markets. But the one thing I can tell you that makes me a little bit nervous is right now the Federal Reserve is actively trading out U.S. dollars for euros to try to support the euro, while Greece and Italy and any number of other European countries struggle with their own debt crisis. So the good news is, if you're Europe, you get a little extra help from the U.S. The bad news is, for us, if Europe goes down to a you-know-what in a handbasket, well, that's really bad news for us on any number of fronts. That's the cheat sheet for today. We'll see you tomorrow.